This is your Weather Extreme video for Saturday, October the 3rd. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. Thanks for tuning in. And let's get right to the weather map this morning. And there's a look at the United States. And we've got a rather large high-pressure system over the eastern Canada, and it's nosing all the way down through the lower Mississippi River Valley. And we have some weather out in the Rockies, and we certainly have some weather on the East Coast, thanks to Joaquin. In the upper atmosphere, we've been dealing with and will continue to deal with for at least another 36 to 48 hours, this pesky upper low that has been over the southeastern U.S. Of course, we can see Joaquin out there in the Atlantic, but fortunately, Joaquin is finally heading away from the Bahamas. Let's go ahead and talk about the tropics. We have three areas. We'll talk mostly about Joaquin, but we also have an area out to the southeast of Bermuda, and that area could develop into a tropical system, but it's likely to stay well out to sea. The one we need to be concerned about is the one that is just to the southwest of the Cape Verde Islands, and that one could follow along behind Joaquin, and become close to the Lesser Antilles in several days, probably the end of the week. So we'll have to keep our eyes open on that one. The plot of the Joaquin's track. Joaquin remains a major hurricane and will through tomorrow morning, but by midday on Sunday, it's expected to drop back to Category 2 hurricane. And it looks like it's going to come very close to Bermuda, and that pink line that you see around Bermuda means that there's a hurricane watch. They also have a tropical storm warning in effect, and it's going to be close call on Joaquin. Fortunately, the various computer models are in much closer agreement, as you can see from this spaghetti plot here. Rainfall still is a problem over the southeastern U.S., especially from Georgia, especially eastern Georgia, through the Carolinas and up into Virginia, and a little bit of eastern Tennessee and perhaps even eastern Kentucky. But the National Weather Service has a high risk for flash flooding over that area on day 1, and they keep the moderate risk and high risk over South Carolina on day 2, and then on day 3, drop things back to moderate, and so we're beginning to get back to some semblance of normality. But as I say, we're looking at on the order of perhaps as much as 15 to 20 inches of rain over the period of time. All right, let's get to the 06Z GFS model run. And there's a look at our surface map for today. And indeed, GFS doing a pretty good job here. The rain a little bit further along. And by the way, let's take a look before we leave it. Let's take a look at the current radar. That's the current radar over the central Alabama area. And then we also want to take a look at what's going on over in Georgia for the Athens area, where Alabama is meeting Georgia later today, and there's a look at the radar. Now, this will change considerably, but it shows where the rain is going on right now. All right, let's get back to the model. And again, there's the surface plot and showing the rain over the Carolinas. In the upper atmosphere today, the pesky low continues to kind of wobble a little bit, or what's I like to refer to as dumbbelling. It's getting elongated, so that kind of is almost like an egg shape, and that it dumbbells as little disturbances come around that upper low. The upper low is over North Florida by Sunday at midday, and that certainly is beginning to show signs of it going away from us. In the meantime, of course, we can see the upper air reflection of Joaquin as it's coming pretty close to Bermuda. And there's the surface map, and of course the rain continuing over the Carolinas, especially over South Carolina. So they're under flash flood watches over that area through the next couple of days. The upper air pattern on Monday, our pesky low is finally moving off. We're coming under a ridge over the lower Mississippi River Valley, but notice too that there's a nice closed low over Southern California. So that'll be our next weather system. And unfortunately, the models are diverging on their solutions. We can see the rain finally beginning to move away from the Carolinas, but still substantial rain is possible. The ridge takes hold pretty strongly, and the upper pesky low is finally heading out to sea. And good riddance to that thing. And we're seeing this trough come in, approaching the Four Corners area on Wednesday. It's opening up, so it goes from a closed low on Tuesday to an open trough on Wednesday and over the Four Corners area. And then on Thursday, it begins to come out into West Texas, and this is when things begin to diverge. The GFS showing a pretty good band of rain with that trough at the surface and dry over the southeastern U.S., and I think that's pretty good. The the European showing something very similar, dry over the southeastern U.S., and not quite as continuous a band, but some rain over the western part of the Great Lakes and some rain over West Texas. The trough moves a little slow, but moves over into central Texas on Friday, and this is when we really begin to see some differences. You'll notice that the GFS is opening up the trough and opening up the moisture from the Gulf for us, but the European, on the other hand, doesn't seem to open it up nearly as much, and the result is it keeps the rain back in Texas. I'm a little suspicious here. I think the GFS might have a little better handle on it, but we're going to go ahead and keep the forecast for the end of the week dry for now because that is a long way out and a lot of things can change. A week from today, we see that our open trough is opening up and ejecting out to the northeast over the central Mississippi River Valley. The GFS suggests that we could have a bit of a wet Saturday in store, but the European, on the other hand, keeps us pretty dry with a bit of a high-pressure system over the area. So real divergence right now. We're going to go ahead and keep it dry for the time being, but I think there's a possibility that GFS may have a little better handle on it. Looking out into Voodoo Country, we see that we have another trough coming in around the 13th, but the GFS is keeping that one, the bulk of it, to the north of us, and we should be staying dry with that situation. And then around the 18th, we're basically under a ridge emanating from a upper air high pressure area over the Bahamas, but we have a broad trough over the western states. So it looks like more typical October weather than we're experiencing right now. Well, that will do it for the Weather Xtreme video for this edition. I'll have the next one first thing on Sunday morning, maybe a little bit later than I usually do because I've got a social engagement Saturday evening tonight and might want to sleep in a little extra. In the meantime, I hope you have a great day and Godspeed.